and it's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's Mission Brief, foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous, and Vegas Vacation, Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, Be a Magician, Sebastian K approaches the line, Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Sometimes I forget that when I'm really loud, why am I really loud? I mean, I'm naturally loud, but this is louder than usual. There we go. I think that's right. Sometimes, as the professional radio person I am, I forget that once the song is over, that's usually when I have to start talking. And sometimes I'm just absurdly loud because a fellow radio host in this basement, whose name may not rhyme with Ray Cotolo, sometimes he plays around with the settings and I will adjust them. So whoever that might be. Welcome everybody to another edition of North American Harness Update. I am your host, Ray Cotolo, who has been referred to as... what did I write down? You see, this is why I can't prepare for the show, because I come up with these bits to do beforehand, and then they're gone from my brain. You know why? Because I'm a busy boy. Busy boy. That's the alliteration of the year by Oxford Merriam-Webster, according to certain dictionaries and other sources, some of which may or may not have gone extinct. But tonight on the show, this week on the show, I can't say tonight because that would imply we do the show every night, and we don't. That's just flat out. Well, it's not impossible. I wouldn't want to do the show every night. Once a week, I think, is enough. And you all can agree with that, especially with the with the plethora of other opportunities that I have out there in this world that you can find me at, including maybe at your own bars, where I will be up there just standing and staring at you, maybe breathing heavily into the mic. I haven't really decided what I want to do with those kind of spots yet, even if I get those kind of spots. And I don't know what kind of spots they'd be. Would they be polka spots? Because I don't know any kind of polka. I can do the dance where I bend my knees up and down like a good little Danish boy. I think that's Danish, the polka, where it comes from. Look, I'm digressing already from harness racing. I got to bring in my co-host. We also had, for those of you listening to the podcast version, it starts out in the middle of the intro song because we had a bit of a recording snafu in terms of playing with some technical stuff for tonight, including testing video streams, etc., etc. So you didn't miss much other than the news, which next week will be live from Hong Kong here on SRN1. Because, by the way, this is a live radio show on the internet that airs every week while I talk and type my password at the same time. I don't want to say the password, though, because last time I did that, I lost my bank account. I lost it to the Chinese. But that was a specific person that was listening to the show. And hopefully not only did they get my money, but they hopefully cashed on that pick 4 I gave out last week that paid $108. That makes me losing my entire savings all the worthwhile. Why do I do this? So I'm going to bring on my co-hosts, Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr., who join me every week. And they're loud. Hello. Hi, boys. Hello. How's it going, everybody?
We're live.
We're live.
Yeah, yes, that's how radio works. Do I need to explain fire next?
Don't think so.
Oh, okay. I'm willing whenever I have to. I hope I don't have to, but
I can explain violence quickly.
I'm sure you can, with more fists than one. Tonight on the show, we have. I think this is going to be a loose show because it's just basically pick 4s. Pick 4 from Western Fair for tonight. Pick 4 from the Meadowlands for tonight, and pick 4 from the Meadowlands for tomorrow. So, with that said, I just finished making graphics because Rod and I were on the phone for about an hour before the show during my little prep time, as I like to call it. But I got the graphics done nonetheless, so I'm expecting to hear some applause from you guys. The fact that I get work done is a miracle on this earth. Like, really. I don't have to do any of this. I don't need to do any of this. I could be working at a Quiznos. However, I persevere. That's the word. I persevere through it all with myself. That's where that ends. So let's start out with the Western Fair Pick 4, because the Meadowlands Pick 4 where's that at? They're on race 6. Race 6 is going off. So we can quickly give out our numbers for the Western Fair tickets. Those Pick 4s will be going up on the internet momentarily while you guys are talking, and I'm posting them as the graphics wizard I am. So this Pick 4 at Western Fair starts in 9 minutes with race number 7. I'm going to send it off to you, Mikey. Mike, give us a quick rundown of this sequence.
You want me to do all of them?
You can give out numbers, specific ones you like.
Okay, good. Okay, so race 7, I feel like it's pretty obvious. The 2 inside horses look to dominate in here. The 1, Southfield Spirit, drops from a higher level and had won 3 in a row prior to that. And then the 2, Raising a Rocket, is Moreau and First Time Lasix. So I would be 1-2 in that race. The second leg, I like the 2, 3, and 5. The 2 comes off a nice win from off the pace. And the 3, he won 2 back at Flamborough and ended up first up last time. And then the 5 comes off a layoff, but he had a nice qualifier and he was chasing blatantly best in that one. So I think those are the 3 there. I'm going to take them all in race 9. Really no opinion there. I think any of them can win. And then I'm 1, 2, 3, 6 to finish. Liking the 6th best. But I think the inside 3 definitely have a chance to upset in that race. So 1, 2, 3, 6 to finish. So my ticket was 1, 2 with 2, 3, 5 with 1, 2, 3, 6. That's Western Fair Pick 4.
Wow, Mike, that was a lot of numbers real fast. If you missed all of them, these graphics are going up on our Twitter page at NA Harness Update and on Facebook, North American Harness Update. Right now, Rod, can you give us numbers, but even faster?
Probably not faster, but the first leg, I do agree with Mike. The 1 and 2 are going to be right there, but I think they might battle. I'm hoping they battle because I used all. My top horse is the 5. Looks like a good spot for him, and I think he could get a really good trip in this race. And race 8, I'm going 5 and 6. The qualifier on the 5 was really good. It's tough to throw that one out. And he should be tough, but he has missed some time, so be cautious with him. The 6 is second start off of a long layoff, and that's kind of a messed up line you're looking at on the 6 there. I think he's ready to improve and do some damage tonight. Third leg, I'm going 1, 2, 5. The 5 won't get away way back this week, so if he's close turning for home, he's got a big shot to win, and he's also a big price. The 2, that's my second choice there. He's got a win. Was close last week. The 1 draws the inside, gets Henry, should get away up close and not have to leave the rail. Final leg, I'm going 1, 3, 5. 3 is my top horse. Got a bad steer last week and should be closer. I expect this one to finish first or second. And that's really all I got there. So my ticket is all with 5, 6, with 1, 2, 5, with 1, 3, 5.
All right, there you are. I got my numbers ready. I got a total of 2, 5. I have a lot of numbers to give, but it costs $10.80, so hold tight. I start in the first leg, race number 7, with the 2 and the 3, only the 2 and the 3. I don't like the 1, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, or the 8, only the 2 and the 3. 2 adds Lasix for the first time. Now, I was a bit hesitant to use her for that reason, because her last 3 races actually, muy stinkos. But the 3, Poetic Dream, I didn't want a single, because she's not a confident single for me. She does draw better this time around, and will definitely be forwardly placed. However, doesn't necessarily have the stamina of a confident single. So I am 2-3, using the 2 in the hopes that maybe she improves. Second leg, race number 8, I'm 2-3-5. I take 3 numbers. Better Be Said raced well from the second tier, draws onto the gate this time around, should be up closer. The 3, Santana Sass, 1-2 starts ago at this level, going first over, and a move like that is always good in my book. The 5, Go Mud, Mike was talking about, was a second in a qualifier to Blatantly Best, who was certainly blatantly the best. Thank you very much. Tipping my hat to my writers over there. Oh, they're having a blast. They love that one they just wrote. I can't pay them enough for that. This horse also raced well in the past in September. This is his first start back in a while. But he got a good qualifier. That's the second leg. The third leg, I'm 3 deep with the 2, 5, and 7. Ginger should be up close, picks up Nick Stewart again, and that could be good. Maddie's credit, the 5, made her first start at this level since moving up from the claiming ranks, where she had 2 wins in a row, and she kicked home well to finish 5th, going a mile and a 16th, although she has to be a little bit closer to the pace in order to really do well here, and maybe that could happen from a mile race. And I also use the 7, Take Your Breath Away, who has 2 decent off the pace efforts over at Flamborough, but ships over to London, could maybe improve, might also not. I don't know, but she's going to be a price. I know that for sure. Final leg, race number 10, I am 3 deep with the 3, Barbie's Bell to the inside, has 2 very nice efforts against the Nars at 2000, draws inside, should do well, especially from the inside. Emerald Rihanna, I love her music. I mean, come on, that's a hunch bet. I don't actually listen to Rihanna, so you can't sue me on that one. But she raced well in her last 3 starts, hitting the board in her last 3 starts, and will not be up close, but could maybe pick up the pieces, and that definitely means a lot, going a mile and a 16th. And the 9, Hussey Sport, first off, I'm surprised that name even got through, but second off, will be trailing Sierra's Rose, so is somewhat guaranteed a spot towards the front, and if she's up close, she has shown in the past she can do all right. So I am 3-6-9 in that last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows: the 2-3 with the 2-3-5 with the 2-5-7 with the 3-6-9. In folk song fashion, I'll repeat again: the 2-3 with the 2-3-5 with the 2-5-7 with the 3-6-9. 1080 for 20 cents. For $1, that's 54. I don't know why you play it for $1. Play it for 20 cents. We hit it last week. By we, I mean me. Flip that W upside down, because it was me last week.
Sure.
And all these, these Rod and I's tickets are, you can check the website, notwhopicks.com, which shows our late pick 4 analysis. I think Rod did the whole card from London tonight.
Whole card. And it's on the London simulcast as well.
Yeah, but Rod, I'm not sure if you're a great magician, because I don't think that's my card.
Well, guess what?
What?
I've only hit about 2/3 of my picks so far, so.
Rod, don't you know it's bad to beat horses? You don't want to hit them. You want to cash on them.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I've cashed on 2/3 of my picks so far, and I'm not playing all chalk.
Now's the time where I show off how intellectual I am. I was watching an Orson Welles movie yesterday called Chimes at Midnight, and there's a scene, because Chimes at Midnight's based on the Shakespeare plays of Henry IV, and there's a battle scene where Henry IV is fighting, I think, his brother Percy Hotspur Henry or something. His name is really stupid, and there's a point where there's this. It gets so brutal that there's literally a scene where there's a guy beating a dead horse. And it's beautiful. Not for the fact that he's beating a dead horse, but poetically, it's beautiful, because that's how Shakespeare works. It's poetic, like a pizza pie. That's what I'm doing. If you can't see it in the studio right now, but I'm doing that thing that the Italians do. They wag the finger, they kiss the air, because it's a hot pizza pie. Stereotypes are bad, children. You do not want to do stereotypes. At least do monotypes, because it will only be heard in one ear. So this pick 4 is starting in a minute. Where are we at in terms of the Meadowlands? They're probably, 10 minutes away?
They're racing the 6th currently.
The 6 is going.
Okay, so we'll be heading over there now?
We probably should start.
Let's head over there now. So not only do we have Western Fair going at this time, we're also going to have the Meadowlands going, because why not? I don't need more things to do with my life. I need less. But I do not do that because I am a trooper, a super trooper. I do not promote that movie. However, I do promote falling out of chairs and playing this pick 4 at the Meadowlands. It's a tough sequence. I thought it was a tough sequence because it was hard to really narrow down price horses, especially with all these shippers coming in, because it's hard to gauge the ability of each of these horses. We'll talk about it more as we go through the sequence. We start off with the first race of tonight's pick 4. Race number 7. It's a $5,000 trot, a field of 9 going postward here. Now, oddly enough, I was the square of the three of us, and I took the 3 favorites. Mike and Rod, you two are on the same horses, including a good price with Land on Fitz. So
really?
Yeah.
We're on the same horse. Okay. Well, I go 3, 5, 6 here. Obviously, Mike does too. 3 Land on Fitz. I used him 2 weeks ago at the Meadowlands. He is a Meadowlands horse. He actually made my trifecta pay very well. And, he's coming up from the amateur races, and he always competes at the Meadowlands. I mean, he's 1-54 and change over there this year. So you definitely have to use this horse. The 5 Gold Medal Swan, I think, is pretty obvious. This horse raced first over last week and was game, just got beat. The horse on the front, Master of Law, ended up winning, and he raced really well to win that race off of some tough fractions. And then the 6, Left, got hung past the quarter last week, and I thought raced okay, was a little bit shorter than the 5, but should be following the 5 if he doesn't go to the front here, which there looks like there's quite a bit of speed in this race, so I think he's going to duck and follow the 5 around. If he does that, I think he's got a big shot to win, so 3, 5, 6 for me.
Mikey Mike, do you have the same? You agree with him?
Using those 3, and then I'm going to add the 8, Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah.
Comes back from Philly, and this horse has raced well here in the past at higher levels than this, actually, and I think this horse can get the front, especially from the 8 hole. I expect a blast here, hopefully beating the 5 and the 6 out. The 3 is a definite use. Was blocked 2 back there that night. Really, could have, I thought deserved better, and then had no chance from that 9 hole at Yonkers in a $25,000, amateur race. So he wasn't getting anything those last 2. I don't think you're going to get 15. He's probably going to be more like 8. So 3, and then the 5 and 6 are very obvious coming out of that last race. So 3, 5, 6, and 8.
I also want to say hi to Kyle Burton, who's listening tonight. He sent me a very wonderful gif of Napoleon Bonaparte beating a dead horse by the looks of it. Very, very cartoonish. Thank you for your patronage, Kyle.
Well, at least Kyle's playing off and pacing again. That's good news.
Which, by the way, off and pacing, if you can't read, first off, you should probably learn how to do that. But if you can't read our graphics, Off and Pacing presents us the pick 4s every week. We have a nice little nifty-difty graphic at the top that has the little horsey, has the information where you can download it on the App Store and on Google Play. You can start now while you're listening because really...
Using our promo code.
Yes, our promo code NAHU200K. I was also going to say, if you play while listening to us, we can subliminally plant information into your brain that you will remember the next day, which will make you super smart and a great handicapper. It's like that Mozart thing that a lot of baby mamas tried, where they tried to feed Mozart to their kids in utero. Except you can't. CDs do not travel through umbilical cords well. The shards really. They shred things up a bit. But that, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to talk about that. I am 3 deep in the first leg of the pick 4 at the Meadowlands. And as I said, I'm pretty square here. I go 5, 6, 8. I take the 3 favorites. I don't like this race at all. Land on Fitz, I feel, is more of a bottom level horse. You can debate if this is the bottom level, but I know the class ladder at the Meadowlands, and this is not the bottom level. So if he ever drops down to 35, you can better bet your bottom dollar. Oh, that was a nice little tongue twister. That I'd use him. But instead, Gold Medal Swan raced well at this level last time out. Peel Ichabod raced well at this level last time out. And Lauderdale drops in class, should be forwardly placed, and being up close is probably going to win this race. Ooh, that was a nice little rhyme, too. If he drew better, I would definitely use Stars Above Alaraj in this race, too. But he didn't, so I don't use him. I'm 5'6'8", in the first leg of the pick 4 at the Meadowlands. Do we diverge and call the 7th from Western Fair, which is going right now?
They're headed there now, so you might as well.
All right, I might as well, while I also post the pick 4 graphics from the Meadowlands for tonight. Busy boy, I am busy boy. I'm going to change my Twitter handle to busy boy and then regret every decision I've ever made in my life, more than I do already. So as I try to coordinate this perfectly, they're going around the turn. They're going around the turn. The pick 4 graphics for Meadowlands tonight, or at least on Twitter. And this race from Western Fair is turning into the stretch. Field of 8, 7 on the gate, 1 in behind. Heading towards the start. They are off and pacing. From the center, leaving out, comes Jen's Credit, Southfield Spirit to the inside, Poetic Dream. Wide around the turn is Jen's Credit. Takes the top. Second, then up where we belong. Third comes Southfield Spirit. Rays on a Rocket. Fourth. Fifth, then Poetic Dream to the back stretch in front of, in sixth, Friends to the end and towards the back, Hoosier Philly. Heading to that opening quarter in front here. Jen's Credit up where we belong. Second, third, Southfield Spirit. Fourth, then Rays in a Rocket, gapping through a 28-1 opening quarter around the turn. In front, Jen's Credit, riding the helmet up where we belong. Third, still Southfield Spirit, trying to close the gap. Rays in a Rocket, fourth. Poetic Dreams, fifth. Inside sixth is Uptown Woman. Seventh to the outside, then turning into the stretch. Friends to the end and towards the back. Hoosier Philly, half-mile bound. It's Jen's Credit. Leading the way from up where we belong, out of fourth, first over, comes Rays in a Rocket on her back. Poetic Dream, 58 3/2. 30-2 for that second quarter, circling the clubhouse turn to the back stretch one more time. In front still, Jen's Credit unpressured, riding the pocket up where we belong. Outside towards third, Rays in a Rocket. Locked in, Southfield Spirit, gapping cover, then Poetic Dream on to 3/4. Then to the inside, Uptown Woman. Outside towards the rear, Hoosier Philly. And Friends to the end to 3/4. Jen's Credit maintaining control outside. Rays in a Rocket, matches strides up where we belong, looks for room, has the room to tip out, but Rays in a Rocket sticks her nose in front in 128-1 around the final turn. Rays in a Rocket narrowly in front to the outside of Jen's Credit, battling back at the rail. Up where we belong, then is 3 lengths back. Third, it's going to be these two through the stretch. Jen's Credit to the inside. Outside, Rays in a Rocket still maintaining the advantage. Rays in a Rocket now puts away Jen's Credit into that final 16th and is striding away to take it. Rays in a Rocket wins by 2. Second, then Jen's Credit in 158-1. Well, that was pretty easy. The Lasix helped.
Sean,
That's
I could have told you that.
5-2. 5-2 isn't bad.
Also, morning line favorite, right? No, second choice.
Yeah.
Morning line second choice.
No, second choice, yeah.
Anyway, as for the second leg of this pick 4 at the Meadowlands, which, wow, there's a lot of prices at the Meadowlands tonight. That could be telltale sign.
Pick 5 carryover, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. Pick 5 carryover there tomorrow night.
And there's only one ticket live in the Survivor to PL Ichabod.
Well, that's a winner then if there's only one ticket.
Unless they lose, then there's a lot more.
No, and there's only one. If there's one ticket, he already won.
Yeah, but if the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, or 10 win, then it's whoever had the first 6. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's the person that had it. There's only one ticket alive. One.
Yeah, he's already won.
He already won.
Maybe they should explain that better. How am I supposed to know
the people that know don't have to be explained.
Oh yeah, don't explain.
All right, we got to get rolling here.
My name's not Roland, it's Ray. The second leg of the pick 4 at the Meadowlands is race number 8. Yes, race number 8. It's a non-winners of 3,500. Their last 5 pace. Oh, this is another doozy. I'm gonna start off with you, Mike, because you thought it was the ultimate doozy, which is also what I refer to other things as. But you take half of them here. You're 5 deep.
5 deep, and this is one of those dash for the G notes, which is, they qualified this week. They have a couple divisions and race for bigger money next week. Try to get more horses to come and race here. So the 2 all it takes comes off a burnt qualifier, drops from $9 to 3 at Woodbine, where the horse was dreadful, but those are better horses than these. And this horse has changed hands. Obviously, we'll see what happens. The 3, Roll and Catch, has raced well from the back. This is Pelling. The horse had no chance last time in a race that ever again won. That was the first race on Saturday. And, that was dominated by the front 2 horses. I could see this horse winning here because this is a little bit lesser horses than was in there. High Octane drops from numbers of 5,000, which had the 10-hole last time, no chance. Prior to that, was competitive, but just long odds, probably overmatched, needs a drop, gets a drop. The 7, Victory Days Will Win, as another closer. I thought this horse raced okay last time. Just the way the race set up, really wasn't to his liking. If he gets a pace up front, he can mow him down. And then the 8, Justified, drops from numbers of 5,000 at Yonkers, had bad posts. I would expect a little bit of a blast here for Abatello, who also trains this one. So let's use those 2, 3, 6, 7, 8.
Rod, give us one less number than Mike did.
Okay. I go 2, 3, 7, 9. The 2, all it takes, like Mike said, it's Burke and Brett Miller driving. Good qualifier. Not much to add on this one. Or the 3, Pelling, Andy Miller this week, was way too far back last time. The 7 I don't want to get beat by this horse. I know he's beat me before at like 50 to 1. So I'm not going to let this horse beat me. I think he's a legit use in this class, and he's just got to be close. And then the 9, another long shot. Raced well last week from way off the pace, just had no chance. He's going to be in a similar spot, but if he's got a live outer flow, I think he's going to be a little bit closer, and he's got a shot to get there at a price. So 2, 3, 7, 9.
I have the 2 and the 3 as well. However, I also throw on the 4, Always a Diamond, who raced well in the Geno's Consolation last time out. Drew poorly, but still launched. But launching shouldn't be his game. His game will be stalking. And if he stalks, and he's as good as a corn on the cob. Why am I like this tonight? I need to recalibrate myself before I turn into Grandpa Huxaberry sitting on the porch with a corn husk in his mouth going, how about them tax votes? I don't want to.
Will you finish this race so we can get our guest on?
I'm 2, 3, 4. It's time to get our guest on for tonight. Our guest, of course, if you read the schedule.
Are we going to finish that sequence or no? I mean, what are we doing?
Yes, we're going to finish it.
Yeah, we're going to finish
Okay.
it. Meantime, I got to get his number up.
We've got 3 minutes here.
3 minutes until it's pick 4?
Yes.
Okay, so the rest of my numbers are as follows. In the next leg, I'm 1-3. In the final leg, I'm 1-3-7. So that's 5-6-8 with the 2-3-4, with the 1-3, with the 1-3-7, $27.50. Mike, what do you got?
The 9th race, I'm going to use the 2 and 3. I think those 2 are fairly obvious. And then the last race, I'm 1, 3, 4, 9.
And Rod?
I am 3-5 in the 8th race. 5 is going to be a decent price. And then the final leg, I'm using 1, 2, 4.
Now, our guest tonight, for those of you who may know, is a horseman. Horseman from Ontario, as you can hear the ringing right now. The phone is ringing.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Travis Henry.
Me.
I was hoping it was you. I'm not sure who picks up anybody's phones anymore. Everyone is a secretary now, except me. But Travis Henry is on the show right now. You're on North American Horse Update.
Oh, hey. How are you?
I'm all right. I was expecting a bit more of excitement than that, but to each their own.
Travis is a busy guy.
That's true. We're calling you in the middle of the card. So I'm going to cut to the gist then. Travis Henry, of course, a driver and a trainer in Ontario, has won at tracks such as Woodbine, Mohawk. I'm not going to name all the tracks you've won at. You already know what you've won at. But Travis, first off, I want to thank you for coming onto the show. And we just wanted a general interview just to talk about horseman things in general. So the one thing that we care about on the show and work with the show is we always try to innovate. And we're curious, for your opinion as a horseman, what do you think your job is in promoting the industry?
Probably just to do, the best job I can. There's lots of people doing a great job promoting it. But you know, I know I just try to, you know, I have owners to please, and every day I drive for different owners too that I try to make money for. So that's you know, I just try to do the best thing I can for them.
Well, I also know too. Rod did a little experiment, and he was able to get in contact with you because one thing that we also wanted to show is that you horsemen you're contactable. You're actual people that aren't just like living in the shadows and operating in the shadows. There's a lot of transparency involved in terms of this industry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He got in touch with me was about a tweet that I saw about a horse that I won with, and you know, it just. You know, it was her second start for me, and she raced really good the week before, and I guess they were just wondering how she dropped 3 seconds, but I guess, you know, if you didn't watch the race the week before, you know, she raced in the mud, and she got caught behind a dead horse, but, you know, I guess, you know, you can't really tell that on a program either, so, you know, and kind of what bugs me, and I know it bugs a lot of guys that I drive with, are the bettors that get on there, and they do contact you, and you know they're very, very, very ruthless about what they say to us, and you know, because they might have lost a bet or whatever, right? And so you know some people don't understand that, you know, horses have brains and they're just like humans. You know, some of them go to work and just go through the motions, and you know, some of them like to work just like, you know, humans are. So, you know, it's not the easiest thing. They're not like cars. You can't just, you know, step on the gas and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been,
I'm going to jump in there. And that's the one thing I can relate to, Travis. You know, as a former horseman, I know exactly where you're coming from. And to be able to openly come out and say what you said to me, that's what our goal is. We want to get horsemen more involved socially with the general public in a positive way. Not, you know, that we don't want the negativity in the sport, obviously, and we want to get things like what I did toward, not necessarily you, but I did it to you the other day. You know, I went on Twitter and I said something about one of your horses, and I said, how did this happen? And you responded, and that was great, and I loved it. And that's what we generally want to see more of, is just stuff like that, to get the people that don't know about horse racing a little more insight into what it is.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I completely agree with you. But, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, there are a lot of old school trainers too that don't even have cell phones anymore. So that, you know, those kind of guys you're not going to get in touch with, and you know, a lot of guys are busy too. But you know, there is a lot of things too where, you know, I think a lot of racetracks, especially here, I think they do a better job promoting it in the States and stuff. But definitely here, it's just kind of, you know, I don't know. I think they struggle to do, you know, put the horsemen in contact with the bettors or whatever too, right? You know, they've been trying the last couple of years here to do it, but you know, definitely for sure there could be a lot more done.
Well, with those older guys too, I'm not really sure anyone knows how to read smoke signals anymore, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But no, we're definitely all for interaction between the horsemen and the fans and the gamblers, and you did an excellent job with that. Not to say like this was a social experiment that we were running, but it somewhat was, and you passed the test, if that means anything.
Right.
That's the thing, Travis. I mean, I don't want to say I was calling you out, because I wasn't calling you out. I wanted to bring light to that particular situation that some people just won't understand, or they'll look at it and say, cheater. And you see that a lot with, you know, a lot of gamblers that lose bets, that they automatically go to the cheating card, and that's not the case at all. And it's hard for a lot of horsemen to explain that.
And it could be lame, or they could, you know, they could just not be in the mood that day. You know, we don't know. They can't speak that. So, you know, it's just one of those things that as soon as they they lose a bet or a big bet, then they take their anger out, and unfortunately it's usually us that get it all. So we're out there too to make a living too. We want to win every race we can if we can. It's just that's not the case sometimes.
And then I love how you said that these are actual living creatures, because when you're handicapping, you always forget that, because sometimes you see so much consistency that they are almost animatronic to an extent. But every good horse can have a bad day.
Oh, for sure, and it's happened to every good horse. They've had a bad day, and when you see a horse, that shows winning its last 5 or 6, and you got to know that he's going to have a bad race one time, or he's going to have a bad day, or something's going to happen. He's not, every good thing comes to an end at one point. Like it's not, like even somebody somewhere got beat once. Like it can happen.
Mike, I understand that you have a question. Mike, you there? Michael?
What happened to Mike?
I'm not sure. We lost Mike, but however, Travis, before I let you go, because we got to get going soon, and you do too, there's a couple more races left at London. I know you have a couple drives left. You got anything to say on either of them?
I think I just have 2 left. The one Mary, she was she's been struggling her last couple, but I think hopefully they got she's hit and go, so I don't really know how she's going to be. She's got a few issues with so I don't know how she is, so we'll just see. She hasn't been finishing her mile, so we'll see if she can finish her miles. And the other one should be all right, I think.
That one's Hussey Sport you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Alphabet Queen.
Oh, that's right, Alphabet Queen. Alphabet Queen, yeah, she's had a rough couple of starts, but Hussey Sport, from the second tier, how's your strategy go for that usually when you have to race from the second tier?
You're kind of at the mercy of who you're following right there. She does have speed, early speed, but it's just she's kind of tricky to drive too, because she gets a little excited. So you kind of have to just keep her quiet as long as you can.
Mike, do we have you?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Mike, do you have a question for Travis?
My question would be more when you are interacting with some of these people that are angry with you and things like that. I mean, do you find yourself that you get defensive, or would you rather be honest? Would you rather just say, hey, I messed up, I didn't make a good drive necessarily, or it was the horse or whatever? I mean, what do you think about that?
When I give a bad drive, I usually say I give a bad drive, and some people think that it was a bad drive if I don't, but usually I'm pretty honest. Like, I've come off the track several times and said, listen, it just, it didn't work out, it was a bad drive, I shouldn't have been in that spot, and I put myself in that spot, and it's my fault. But, when the bettors get on Facebook and contact you somehow, and some of the stuff they say, it's really hard to even...
Oh, they're ruthless.
Let alone, like, you know what I mean? Like, let alone even try to talk to them, because, some of the stuff they say, it's just, nobody should ever say, but...
I can relate to that, because I actually had a beer thrown at me one time at Balmoral. After a race, I was going back to the paddock, and you have to go back in front of the grandstands, and the guy called me several cuss words and threw a beer at me.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of...
I think I was like 30-1 in the race and finished like 4th or something. So I'm not real sure why he threw a beer at me, but he was obviously mad because he lost a bet. But that's the kind of stuff that you have to deal with, and you try to avoid. But at the same time, you want to be open with the general public. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. You tell if they have questions, they can contact. I think most drivers are on Twitter or Facebook, and if they have questions, they can always contact them. But it's everybody has a bad day, or everybody screws up. So I don't think it's right to go calling them every name in the book or whatever. But whatever, they get mad, and know, I'm not saying any names because I know a few guys that have great history of it, but you know what happens, people get mad, and that's what happens. So.
I think at the very least it would be a bit more justifiable if they used proper English. But Travis, I'm going to let you go. Thank you again for coming on and talking with us. And we know you're a busy guy and you got some drives to catch. So again, thank you for joining.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
All right, Travis Henry from Western Fair, and we are out of the pick four at the Meadowlands. Montalbano B just got up.
Did they put the 2 up? Because I'm not sure about that.
The two got his nose up.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't know. It looked like it was up after the wire to me. Sorry, my mic was off. I turned it off because of.
Oh, okay. But God, I just like horses like Montalbano B that win. I don't like when they come in off those qualifiers and then they're suddenly so good. Southside would have been a lot better if he wasn't on the lead. I think next start he's going to really do well, though.
He was bad. I mean, he was.
Southside's an incredibly wacky horse, but the line is coming. That's the 2.
That's close.
That has to be the 2.
I don't know.
It's on the line. It's the 2. The 2-1. We're out.
Okay. We'll see.
I've called photos from the Meadowlands for about 7 years now. 2, 6, 7.
I know. I've been watching races longer than you've been alive, so just whatever. I realize that, you know.
You always gotta pull that out on me, Mike. Even though I just called it right.
Well, that's great. It was close though. I'm gonna wait till they post it. Usually, I mean, because the way these cameras are anymore.
Not at certain tracks. Meadowlands, it is on the line. I get with Western Fair. Western Fair's a hard angle. It's a very hard angle. Same with Chester.
Yes.
However,
They're on their way to the finish at Western also.
Let's see who's winning right now.
The 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Who I don't have.
I don't know if I can call this photo, but it looks like it.
Which I think that means Mike and I are alive.
Yes.
Yes, sirree. Bob.
Not me, because I used all and then got chalk home.
Yep, because I still don't get why you use the all button all the time.
Because I try to get chalk beat, and they win every single time I hit the all button.
That means you're probably reading the race wrong.
Yeah, I want to get the chalk beat. The chalk looks like the horse that's going to win, or there might be 2 of them. I want to get them beat. Why would you want to play chalk?
1 to 5 there. I mean, that was especially off the bench. That's pretty tough pill to swallow there. I mean, if you
where was the
take
2?
1 to 5 on a horse like that.
Where was the 2?
Well, no, I wouldn't have played him at 1 to 5. I definitely would have.
Not you. I'm not saying you, as in you.
Yeah.
I'm saying the general human being.
Where was the 2?
I know. 1 to 5.
He made a break, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to watch 2 races and conduct interviews and, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I understand. Calm down, buddy. Again, thanks to Travis Henry for joining us. He's going to be driving Alphabet Queen in the next race at Western Fair.
I have an actual chance to hit something at Western Fair now.
Well, we both do right now.
Oh, I do want to shout out Sugar Doyle for bringing our ad up a couple times tonight, and everybody up there at Western Fair has been really good to us lately, so we appreciate all of it.
Did they play the video too?
They haven't played the commercial.
Oh, I'm excited.
But we've had about 10 minutes of airtime tonight.
We're working on getting the commercial played at other places too. We just have to stay tuned for that.
If you haven't found that commercial, it's on the YouTube page where we post all the archives, which is just my YouTube page because I haven't set up the North American Harness Update YouTube page.
Or you can find it on whopicks.com.
Well, yeah, if I remember to embed it, which I have a plan to make that less work intensive because I'm a genius. For those of you who don't know,
No, he's not.
What do you mean? You're not the one that gets to say I'm a genius.
So I want to know, like, Rod, explain this a little more because we really didn't front this as far as what happened with him this week and why we had him on the show.
Yes, Rod, please, and tell us.
Elaborate.
Okay, so Tuesday night, Travis had a horse that he trained and was driving at Western Fair. The horse on the program did not look like he was any kind of standout. You know, he had 2-3 miles, just, you know, kind of going along, but was a very green horse. Only had 2 or 3 lifetime starts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the 2-hole. He ended up going to the front and winning the race pretty handily in 2 minutes.
Okay.
And the week before, the horse was on and off track, like he mentioned, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of say something about that horse and the performance from week to week. So when I mentioned it, Travis knew who I was talking about, and he responded to it. And, you know, he basically said what he said on the air tonight. You know, he had the horse a couple weeks, and the horse was improving, young horse, and raced in the mud the week before. And you couldn't really tell just from a program. If you watched the replay, you could see that the horse was trapped behind a dead one the week before. And, you know, he pointed these things out on Twitter for the general public to see. And that's why I wanted to bring him on, because a lot of guys won't do that because they're afraid of, you know, backlash or something like that, where they might get in trouble for something they say. And I personally feel that should not be an issue with any driver, trainer, owner, anybody involved in horse racing, because the more open people within the industry are with the general public, the better off the entire industry is, in my opinion.
So with that said, Travis, we'll be sending your trophy in the mail once we get it made. As for us, well, I'm currently entering my horses on off and pacing. Mike, you sound like you're going to say something to elaborate off of that.
No, I agree with Rod. I mean, I think the more openness you have, the overall better feeling of racing you have with everybody. You know, so.
And it's not necessarily that I'm trying to call people out. That's not what I'm doing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just want the horsemen to feel comfortable speaking publicly about their horses after the fact.
But like
because they're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what he says though is this, you know, that, you know, most of the time guys are giving them a hard time because they lost.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's difficult. I mean, it's human nature, really. I mean, all of us, there's not a one of us that, you know, hasn't complained about a bad drive, a bad move, should have done this, should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is. That's human nature, especially when money's involved.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
100%.
And that makes it difficult because that's what they get 90% of the time, not people that are actually interested. Like you're interested in saying, hey, you know, this horse really improved. You know, what do you say? This and that. Most guys are like, yeah, this is BS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what makes it difficult because it only takes one guy to, you know, cut you off on the highway and then you want to go a different way. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's.
And that's the other thing. That's part of what I'm trying to do outside of the business, because I personally think that is a huge thing to get these drivers and trainers to be open with the public, because they aren't. And they're afraid to be because of the degenerates that trash them on social media daily. You know, they might not do it publicly, but they'll message, you know, they'll private message these drivers and trainers and say, you're a cheater, or you do this, or, you know, what happened here? You know, just all negative type of stuff. And that's really bad for business, and nobody wants to see that type of stuff. I want to contact these guys and say, hey, can you explain why this horse raced good, or why this horse raced bad, or why you drove this way? You know, something along those lines.
Just like the night we had at the Breeders' Crown, we had all those drivers. You know, that was really cool because we could talk to them directly and say, what do you think about this horse? What do you think about that horse? You know, that was and I thought that most of the trainers and the drivers were honest with us and said, well, even like we had Brian Sears, he said, listen, I screwed up. I should have got away a little bit, and I didn't, and I got clipped.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was very telling to me. That was, like he knew.
Yeah, and these guys, you guys know that I know 90% of the people in this business.
98, really.
Yeah, probably more. In some form or another, I know a lot of these guys. And I know that given the opportunity, they would be willing to do this type of stuff. Like Travis came on the show for, 10 minutes. They would be willing to do this type of stuff on a daily or weekly basis if it was presented to them. But willingly, they're not gonna, because they're afraid of the naysayers that go on there and just blast all the time.
Well, that also just speaks to a lot of the problems in terms of just the gambling culture itself. It is very, and that also goes with just the reputation of horse racing to an extent, because there is that very degenerate atmosphere to gambling. Like whenever I think of gambling, the archetype is usually like this really dim, smoky. And I've never been to a place like this, but in terms of just the personality and the overall vibes that come from going to a racetrack or such, it's very much it's a weighted feeling, and a lot of that just has to do with the culture that we're talking about that you can't really correct, because people, when you lose money, you kick into that animalistic impulse of, I want my money back. I want to be right. I should be right, because that's the ego talking. Every handicapper thinks they're the best handicapper. And then they're willing to defend it to the point where they go and they insult the people that are driving the horses and training the horses. And it's absurd. But it happens.
Yeah,
it's absurd, but it's human nature.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I am aware.
Like I said, I've had stuff thrown at me. I've been cussed out. I can't tell you how many times. It happens.
You were drunk.
No, I did. See, and that's the problem. Nobody deserves that kind of.
I'm just.
I know you're kidding, but I'm just saying nobody should be yelled or screamed at immediately after a race because somebody lost a $2 show bet.
Well, maybe I should.
That's what 90% of those guys are doing. They're betting $2 to show. They're betting $1 exacta box, and they're losing, and they're getting mad because you finished 4th or 5th. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was here to please you. I'm trying to make my own money. And that's what these guys, a lot of these degenerates don't realize.
Well,
aside from degenerates, that you have to realize that everybody at the racetrack is there to have fun and win money.
It goes back to what Mike said, that's just human nature, and that's it. That's been the culture of some of the sport. I don't want to say all of the sport, because we've had a lot of fun in our own little circle in this sport. But that's been a portion of it for years and decades, maybe even centuries. Whenever they invented booze, but no, that's not necessarily anything we can change, because no matter what, there's always a portion of society that always is in that narrow-minded state where it's so the world is so centered around them that they will go to the extent that they do and throw beer bottles at you. And that's just the history of mankind, period. And we could do our best to somewhat alleviate that through the kind of discourse that we showed tonight with Travis Henry, and that you demonstrated with Travis Henry, of being able to just open up a dialogue and not a bar fight.
Trash talk.
I like bar fight better as a metaphor.
Yeah.
But and transparency isn't necessarily the best word for it, but it's a word that works for what this is, because I feel like if you were to be, for instance, the degenerate that's cussing out a driver for a drive and then you heard every reason for everything they did. If you were a person that could at least read logic and understand the course of human thought, which I understand is maybe like 10% of society, then all of your anger should subside and you'll understand the mistakes. But again, that's not how it goes, especially when money's involved. Because even on Wall Street is such an animalistic place because of how just the capitalist nature of it and how much is being invested, how much is being risked, how many livelihoods are at stake and literally in stakes, burned at the stake sometimes. But that goes back to when the Salem Stock Exchange crumbled. But having Travis Henry on was great. Rod demonstrated something that was great. Rod is great, and I know that was the point you wanted me to get to. But where are we at the Meadowlands?
Especially after the week we've had, yeah. I mean, that's really all we wanted.
Is to hear Rod is great?
Yeah. That's it.
Race 8 at the Meadowlands is coming up in 0 minutes.
Yeah, because I'm not a journalist, so.
Right.
What do I have?
Definitely not.
Nothing.
I've got this, and I've got my handicapping skills. That's what I've got.
But you don't have live pick 4 at Western Fair. You don't have that.
I don't have that, but I'm about to hit this race, so.
I have a free subscription to Vanity Fair. That's all I have to my name.
That sounds good.
Why would you get Vanity Fair?
I didn't ask for it. I said it was free.
Well, you have to sign up for it somehow.
Just look at the pictures and, whatever.
What do you think I can't read? Sometimes,
John Stamos.
Sometimes I gotta read the articles. John Stamos is a handsome man. You stop right now.
Just peel the pages apart, right?
Just looking into John Stamos' eyes makes my heart a full house. Look, 60 seconds to post time for this 8th race at the Meadowlands. I'm gonna call it. Then we're gonna go to break, and when we come back from break, we're going to have the late pick 4 for Saturday at the Meadowlands, the rest of the pick 4 at Western Fair, and the rest of this pick 4 from the Meadowlands, which, by the way, none of us are alive in this pick 4 at the Meadowlands because Montalbano B made our tickets go Montalbano by. That made no sense. That
was brutal.
How does that make any sense? I'm in a different planet right now, if you could not tell, but I'm also very caffeinated, so I'm still somewhat rooted into this reality. However, I will try to transcend it in the second hour and somehow speak to the greater consciousness. So stay tuned for that. And we might finally start this cult thing tonight. Zips Flamingo's about to race too. 12 seconds to go for this race at the Meadowlands. 3-2 favorite, the 2 all it takes. Second choice, then at 2-1, the 3 roll and catch. Third choice at 9-2.
Are we going to break right after this race?
Right after this race. The 8, Justified. Right. This is the 8th from the Meadowlands, second leg of the pick 4. Who on earth could be alive? A lot of people, apparently. Field of 10 in motion and approaching the start. Division for the dash of the G-notes. Condition pace. In motion. Approaching the start. And now off and pacing. From the far outside, Justified in every intention, floating for position. Steady pulse towards the center, sprints away. Always a diamond is inside, then around that first turn. Gonna park out, steady pulse to the opening quarter. Getting away third comes Justified, inside fourth, all it takes. Fifth then wide, every intention to the opening quarter. Floating into sixth, roll and catch. Seventh then Legambi, eighth to the inside, high octane. On the outside then Victory Days will win, and trailing the field, Woodmere Ultimate to the opening quarter. Off the rail to the lead, always a diamond in 27-3, overtaking steady pulse to the backstretch. Every intention from third now towards second. Man is pressing for the lead, matches strides with always a diamond, sticks a neck in front, a nose in front, and these two are battling to the halfway point, past the 3/8 pull, two clear of steady pulse, pacing in third. Justified's back fourth, angling off the rail fifth, the favorite, all it takes, trying to catch the cover of the narrow leader, parked out, every intention to the half, then it's a gap of about 3.5 to roll and catch, pacing sixth. off a 55-1 clip. 27-3 that second quarter to the far turn. All it takes on the outside, reeling in the battlers. Outside every intention, not clearing from always a diamond. All it takes is only a length and 3/4 off the lead, heading to that 3/4 pole. Inside, steady pulse locked. And on the outside, Justified paces in 5th, 2.5 lengths away. Roland catches 6th. Inside, Legambi needs room. Victory Days will wins on cover then. Still back to High Octane and Woodmere Ultimate, 3/4 up in 124. Top of the stretch. Always a diamond trying to maintain that lead, but off cover, all it takes swoops down the center of the track for Miller to take the lead. Justified off cover towards the center up to 2nd. Outside then, every intention in between horses. High Octane splits late with Legambi diving to the inside and Roland catch towards the center. Deep stretch. All it takes and Justified lunging late after all it takes, and Justified gets by to take it from all it takes. Then High Octane up for 3rd, 152-2. It's time for break. When we come back from break, you already heard what's going to be happening, so stay tuned. You Bumblites? Bumblites? What does that mean?
Take me out tonight, where there's music and there's people and the young and the light. Driving in your car, I never want to go home, because I haven't got one anymore. Take me out tonight, because I want to see people and I want to see life. Driving in your car, oh please don't drop me home, because it's not my home, it's their home and I'm welcome no more. And if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side is such a heavenly way to die. And if a 10-ton truck kills the both of us, to die by your side, well, the pleasure, the privilege is mine. Take me out tonight, take me anywhere, don't care, don't care, don't care. And in the dark and underpass, I thought, oh God, my chance has come at last. But then a strange fear gripped me and I just couldn't ask. Take me out tonight, oh take me anywhere, don't care, don't care, don't care. Driving in your car, I never want to go home, because I haven't got one, oh I haven't got one. And if a
Philippong at Woodbridge. A Newmarket man faces charges after driving up Yonge Street without a tire. The 61-year-old was found traveling north in Innisfil on Wednesday afternoon missing a tire and is accused of being drunk when stopped by police. He is ordered to appear in court next month. The chair of York Region's Public School Board is stepping down. East Gwillimbury and Wichita trustee Lorelea Carruthers has chosen not to seek election as chair of the York Region District School Board. Carruthers believes she and her board have accomplished a lot, including the appointment of an integrity commissioner, the creation of a plan for leadership and human rights training for staff and trustees. A new chair will be appointed next week. York Region is investigating after an electronic road sign was hacked. A sign photographed in Aurora appears to show an expletive when it's supposed to show information on road closures and hazards. A regional official says the sign was fixed within 20 minutes. Showers in the forecast, Pearson 7, North 6. I'll have more updates from Hong Kong on SRN1. For now, I'm Philip Hong.
Thank you, Phil. No time for that. Welcome back to This American Life. I am Ira Glass. It is time for Act 2 of our 2-act special, The Day After Today, known as Tomorrow. And now, we cut to that in progress. So I was doing this thing for the today that's not today, but it's later. It's called Tomorrow, right? And that's where I did stuff tomorrow.
Hey, are you live at London?
No.
I am.
Mike is, because he had all of them, and he got the 5-2 shot. I didn't like that 5-2 shot. I thought the class was crap, and she ended up winning at the end.
It was an 8. It was an 8 though, so that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna see what the Will Pays are paying right now.
I'm looking. Who you live to?
1, 2, 3, 6.
126, 211, 57, and 157.
Yeah. Not horrible, but not great.
You could at least make some money back on all of them. More on others. But going to break we had Morrissey of the Smiths. Now, Morrissey is a very common name from what I've learned in England. It is very much like the Smiths of England, but that's not the point. The point is that I took the time out of my life to write that joke, and I'm not getting that time back. And I'm very distraught.
Oh, well.
The time moves forward, but I can't really control that. I can, however, control the words that I do say with my mouth, and I could somewhat control the words you say with your mouths, but that is for a different show when we start this cult thing that I have so always wanted to start. But we also have a pick 4 talking about from the Meadowlands for tomorrow. We could start with that before we get into any kind of theological debates about existence, which is for North American Existential Update, debuting in the spring of 2019, not 2018, because it's a busy year next year for me. I just won't have the time to do it. But 2019, watch out. I'll probably forget by then. This pick 4 at the Meadowlands tomorrow night starts with race number 8, right? Yeah, it starts with the 8th. Oh, why is that? Why did they change? Why is it like
because of the Survivor, the pick 5, and the early pick 4.
But here's the thing. They have all of those wagers tonight, too. And they didn't adjust the
because tomorrow there are 12 races, not 11.
And they can't have the pick 4 going into the last race?
Nope.
They'd rather have the high 5 going there by itself, I think.
That's fair enough. And that's because like whoever hits the pick 4, then they have money and they go, I could take down this high 5. They're very clever at the Meadowlands. I would
they want to spread it out. I mean, they'd rather have things spread a little bit where it's not all. But they tried it all bunched together and it totally got away from them. I mean, it just eliminated all the money from all the pools basically because nobody knew what to play.
And right now I just saw on Twitter a picture of our pal Marcus Miller. He's down in Australia right now for their driving championship. I like Marcus.
Cool.
It's already tomorrow night.
Marcus, hi from the future. Did the tax bill pass? I hope it didn't.
It didn't yet.
Yet? I don't like yet. That's a bad sign. Oh, no.
Well, we got another pick 4.
We have another pick 4. Rod, I think it's time for you to shine.
I hope so. I need to hit something.
By which I mean, it's time for change the host. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I am a very apathetic person to the point where I have no more pathicy to spare, or any kind of grammar skills or language skills for that matter. At 10 o'clock on a Friday night, at the same point when I'm working on multiple thesis papers and presentations, so I'm going to hand this off to Rod. Rod, this is your time to shine. You are now the host for the next 10 minutes of this show. Use it wisely.
Why?
I don't want to talk as much. That's why I'm giving it to you.
All right, well, we've got the pick 4 tomorrow night at the Meadowlands. Starts race 8. This is tomorrow night's late pick 4.
Yeah, it's
starting in race 8.
Yeah, tomorrow night. I'm sorry, Rod. I'm not meaning to interrupt. Just you keep going.
Okay. The first leg is a filly mare. Now winners of 15,500 last 5. Optional 50,000 claimer. I only see one in for the claiming tag, but this one's featured by a Burke entry, 1-1A of Better Have Another and Abijade Hanover. They got post positions 2 and 5. I thought this race was pretty wide open, and you could go a number of ways here. Mike, where you at?
4 deep to start. I have to use the entry. Burke. Both horses, I think, have a chance to win, and I do think that they'll be probably sub 2-1. Better Have Another is raced well at Yonkers. Now there's a 20,000, won last time, albeit off a perfect trip. But this horse hasn't had ideal posts there, and has faced decent ones. Does okay on a big track. I think that being inside gets Yannick. And Yannick had been driving the 1A, so that tells you that the 1 probably is live. The 1A loves the racetrack, doesn't always get there, has been second 3 in a row, but has 11 lifetime wins. This horse is always capable, and Callahan's a capable replacement. So I would use those 2. The 4, Cousin Mary. This horse gets Lasix for the first time. Comes back off races from Yonkers, Pocono, Philly, and those are the top levels there. And this horse has been sort of outposted and, mid-pack and not making a move, but has been bad almost every time. So I feel like, this horse getting the Lasix, getting the big track, that they're going to be trying here. I do think that she needs to be used on the ticket. The horse I really like is the 6, Truth and Liberty, who's been racing open handicaps at Saratoga. But if you remember back to the spring, this horse got very good for a while and won, I think, 4 or 5 in a row at the Big M, at this top level. And this horse has been winning from outside post at Saratoga, which is extremely difficult to do, and coming, blasting home from the back. I like the lines. The 10-1 morning line is absolute garbage. There's no way. This horse will be maybe 4 or 5-1 at the lowest. So I think that horse is a must-use. And then the 7, Single Me, comes from Pocono, has won 2 in a row, racing well enough there at upper levels. And this horse does okay on the big track also. Maybe doesn't have quite the class as some of the others, but she's sharp, and I'm going to use her. 1, 4, 6, 7 to start.
I'm pretty much on the same page as you, except I sub the 4 with the 5. But back to the ones, I pretty much agree with everything you said. They're both going to be placed toward the front, and they both have a shot to win this race. I think the 1A is going to need covered up. The 1 with Yannick should leave, and I don't think he's going to leave real hard because he's going to have to quarter move to get back to the front, because there are going to be some other levers in here. Unless the only other one that goes is the 1A, then he can sit right in the 2-hole. But the 5, OK Heavenly, comes in from Pocono. A little bit of a drop. It's Pelling, and he wins at a pretty high clip. I like the angle of this horse. Was finishing 1, 2, 3 at Hawthorne earlier in the fall, and I think this horse is good enough and likes the big track. I know this horse does run in a little bit, so the the smaller tracks don't help this horse's cause. Going back to the Meadowlands, going to the Meadowlands on a big track, I think this horse is going to be a lot better. And, the way this horse has been racing recently, it doesn't show the true form of this horse, because this horse is a dead closer. And when she gets cover, she can fly home. And then I agree with you on the 6th. The morning line doesn't do justice to what this horse is going to be. Has won 3 in a row, 4 out of 5. Been handicapped the outside every start, and just keeps winning from the back on a half-mile track. So that's pretty impressive. Tough not to use that horse. And then single me, I'm not going to single her, but it's definitely worth the use because she's going to be placed toward the front as well. Ray, where are you?
Oh, Rod, first things first, I want to thank you for giving me time to talk on your program. It means a lot to me as an up-and-coming person of interest in a certain extortion case that I can't really speak much about. However, it's for a lot of money, mostly from my pockets. So to be able to come on to a platform and speak my story, it means a lot, and also to stutter my story too, because I don't know how to speak properly because of how nervous I am about being sued. But I also know that that's not the reason why I'm on here right now. I'm on your show, North American Harness Update, hosted by Rod Allums Jr. to talk about this pick 4. And in the first leg, I use your 3 horses actually. Better Have Another. I certainly will with her. I know you guys are wondering if I wrote. I did in fact write that one off the top of my head. And if any of you are looking for writers, please, I need money, because this legal case it's draining my funds. I can't feed my family anymore with this lawsuit that's coming after me, and I'm gonna be living on the streets soon. I don't know which street, but I think it's gonna be one where there's cars that have the potential to hit me. And then
what are your numbers?
Then I would live no. Look, Rod, whose time is it right now to talk? Thank you very much. I'll get back to my numbers. I have to apologize. There's just a lot going on right now. Okay, Heavenly's the 5 horse. I also use her. I like the fact she's moving to a bigger track. She's raced well at Pocono, and she could race just as well at the Meadowlands. And Truth and Liberty, I also really do enjoy this horse's company. I don't only like this horse, I enjoy her company. She's been racing fantastically at Saratoga, and I adore horses that move from half-mile, 2-mile tracks. So with that, I'm 156 again. Thank you, Rod, for having me on your show. It means a lot to me.
Okay, are you going to do the 9th race, or are you going to call this race over at Western Fair?
I can, because they're often pacing. Insincerity leaves out for the top, getting away 2nd, Barbie's Bell. 3rd, then Amazing Control as they move into the backstretch. 4th comes Flight of an Angel. 5th, then Sierra's Rose. 6th comes down the backstretch, Hussy Sport in front of Betty's Bay. Then towards the rear, Emerald Rihanna and Eve Marie Sealster opening quarter bound off the pocket. Barbie's Bell tucks back into the pocket, leaving Insincerity uncontested on the lead of the opening quarter. 3rd, then Amazing Control. We don't know times because they're going a mile and a 16th. 4th, then Flight of an Angel around the turn. Sierra's Rose still 5th. 6th comes Hussy Sport, followed by Betty's Bay. Betty's Bay rather in front of Hussy Sport. Hussy Sport in front of Betty's Bay. The colors are blurred. Back then to Emerald Rihanna, the penultimate, and the ultimate, Eve Marie Sealster. Heading to the half. Insincerity leads the way in the pocket. Barbie's Bay out of 3rd, uncovered. Amazing Control moving up to challenge as they move into the turn. Flight of an Angel is 2nd over. 3rd over, Hussy Sport now ducking to the inside to cut the corner. Inside then, locked into the backstretch, Sierra's Rose. 4th over in that flow, Betty's Bay. 5th over, Emerald Rihanna. Eve Marie Sealster cannot keep up. Insincerity overtaken down the backstretch by Amazing Control. Locked in, Barbie's Bell nowhere to go. Second over, Flight of an Angel moves up to third. Hussey Sport is second over, then locked in towards the rail. Sierra's Rose. Back then to Betty's Bay, and a blind switch practically, while Amazing Control around that final turn is kicked away by 6. It's Amazing Control to the top of the stretch, leading Insincerity, being challenged then to the outside by Flight of an Angel as they turn for home. But Amazing Control is well in front, coming through the stretch, 6 in front of Flight of an Angel, being overtaken by Emerald Rihanna late. This is going to be Amazing Control to take it. Emerald Rihanna looked like got up from Flight of an Angel in a final time that we do not deserve to know.
So much for that.
And with that, looks like your time is up as host, Rod. You do. I gotta say, you did an awful job being me. That's me being objective, being subjective. I thought you did all right.
Yeah, if I wanted to be you, I wouldn't have done that.
Nobody wants to be me, and that only is a benefit for me. Why'd you rhyme me with me? That's the most uncreative rhyme you could possibly. At least don't rhyme. Jesus Christ. You rang? This race at the Meadowlands is coming up in 20 seconds. A guy on Facebook commented on our Pick 4 tickets, none of you used McGase of Arts?
No.
No. Yeah, I don't like her. She's the definition of horses that don't deserve to win. Unless she wins, then she probably deserves it. I don't think she's going to win.
I didn't like that horse at all in the race.
She's 6-5, and they're lining up.
Well, that's fine. I mean, she could be 6-5.
Scratch.
Go ahead and take that
I
chop.
like the bet.
Scratch down to a field of 9. This is the 9th from the Meadowlands. You got 9 in the gate, behind the gate for the 9th, and they're in line and approaching the start.
Go 3.
Did we ask?
Yes.
They're off and pacing, chasing the gate. McCase of Arts launches towards the front, well shaded to the inside, protects positioning in between horses, then Fire and Diamonds, and from the far outside comes Free Time. They're 3 deep into that first turn, well shaded. Takes the front, challenged by McCase of Arts. The opening quarter off stride goes Purity to the inside of Fire and Diamonds. Free Time circumvents the breaker. Inside Dune Side Life does as well to take 5th. Purity still off stride in 6th, now being overtaken by Aaron Hanover into 6th. 7th then down the backstretch, My Candy. 8th comes Twist of Fate to the inside. Purity is to the back of the pack in 9th. 27-2 the opening quarter down the backstretch past 3/8. McCase of Arts. Length and a half in front of Well Shaded pacing 2nd. Fire and Diamonds is back 3rd. 4th then Shown the Whip. Free Time in front of Dune Side Life in 5th. Another 2.5 back to Aaron Hanover in 6th. 7th comes My Candy, and then Twist of Fate. We don't know if Purity's back on stride, but she certainly is out of the mix. 55-2 for the half. 28 seconds that second quarter. Moving around the far turn. McCase of Arts gains some separation on Well Shaded Life. She's 2 1/4 in front. Fire and Diamonds is then pacing 3rd. Free Time locked in 4th as Dune Side Life moves uncovered overland to try and gain ground, now up to 4th, about 5 lengths off the lead. On cover, My Candy, locked in inside towards the back, Aaron Hanover, and then it's Twist of Fate, gotta catch McCase of Arts. In 124 out of 3rd, here comes Fire and Diamonds to try and reel in the favorite to the top of the stretch. McCase of Arts, a bit leg weary, but she maintains a 3.5 length lead on Fire and Diamonds to the outside in 2nd. Well shaded back 3rd with Dune Side Life, and from the back, Aaron Hanover gaining ground late, deep stretch, McCase of Arts. Her head bobbing, she's maintaining control. McAce of Arts, a 2-length winner. From Fire and Diamonds, then Dune Side Life towards the center, and Aaron Hanover at the rail, 153. Gaining ground. Horses were gaining ground.
I think you can bet the 5 back off that race.
I also wanted to know. I know Bessim Odds. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's an 18-year-old trainer, and he's training at the Meadowlands. Good for him. I think he's 18.
Good for him. I mean, fine. This horse won. It's a bad bunch. Good for them.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is a strange pick 4 because you got a bunch of horses that just were hard to read, hard to gauge.
Yeah, we're not avid Pocono players or even Philly. We stick to what we know.
Certainly hard to 12 gauge too. Now that was taking a shot. The 9th race at the Meadowlands of the second leg of this pick four. Did anyone catch that? I sure didn't. This is a non-winners of $11,000 trot, which is the second leg of the pick four because the pick four starts with race number 8, and this is in fact race number 9. 10 horses, 10 horses, 10 horses lining up for this one. Starting off with you, Mikey J. Pribozie. Give us your analysis.
4 deep again. Starting with the 1, Raise the Curtain. This horse raced decent last time after coming from Philly. Flew to be second at 67 to 1. Draws inside again and, steps up a little. But I feel like this race isn't your typical numbers of 11.5 at this place. It's probably more like a numbers of 85, which is where this horse raced last time. And if you look at the horses, I mean, it's like it is tonight. There's a mishmash of, horses coming from everywhere, and that's fine. It makes for good racing, good boards too. But this horse raced well here last time, so I'm going to use again. I don't think 15 to 1 morning line, maybe, because the horse wasn't bet last time. The 4 Can Do has always raced well at this place. Has been racing at Pocono and pretty sharp. Has a third, a first, and a second the last 3 races. Has won 6 times this year. I like the bigger track for this horse. I like that the guy that's been driving him returns. And I feel like this horse will be forwardly placed. Whenever he's good, he's really good. And he's crushed some fields at this place before. So I think you have to use this horse. The 8, New Jersey Viking. I've always liked this horse. This is a 3-year-old that is basically a stakes horse. Most of the time racing it over his head. But he's capable of big efforts. And gets first-time Lasix tonight. So I would expect a blast early from McCarthy on this one. And, the Lasix, the speed, hard to leave out against a bunch that, is questionable. And then the 9, Caulfield, another horse that likes this place, is dropping from, actual numbers of 12, 15, $20,000 races. Likes the big track. I think we'll be involved early also. Should get away okay from that 9 post. May end up first up, but that might be all right because this horse has some back class. So 1, 4, 8, 9.
Well, Mr. Rod Allums Jr. of the Rod Allums lineage, what do you agree with that, or are you different?
No, I'm different.
Oh, okay. I mean, we knew that to begin with, but what are your numbers?
I'm like 2 Chainz.
No, but what are your numbers?
No.
That was his first hit song.
What are your numbers?
I'm different.
Oh, I know the song you're talking about. It goes like, I'm different.
I'm different.
I'm different. Wait, is that actually how it goes?
No.
Oh. I'm kidding. I asked that as if I didn't know, but of course.
In the middle of that, you gotta say, 2 Chainz.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so my
that's the
numbers.
first time I've laughed all night, so I'm not supposed
All right.
My numbers are 2, 8. The 2 Stealth Hanover. Obvious use here, I think. Coming off an okay race, but get Simon Allard. And last time he drove this horse over at Philly, winning 52, and then went to Lexington, made a break. I'll excuse that one, but this horse is plenty capable. Going to be a short price as well. Then the other one, the 8 New Jersey Viking. Mike touched on this one. First time Lasix, you get a driver change to Andrew McCarthy. Going back to the big track, and I think he's capable. He's got to get a trip. But I think the Lasix is definitely going to help his cause, and has been facing some tough foes, and this is a big drop for him, even though he is a 3-year-old against older. But this late in the season, tough to use that as a gauge. So I'm gonna use this one. He's another, not a big price.
Before I get into my numbers, I just want to say, looking at the 3 Deniper, it's nice to see the driver of his last race doing a lot ever since he made the Godfather trilogy. Francis Ford Coppola was driving a Deniper in his last race at Saratoga and It's just good. It's good to see him still around doing things. And not like he followed the Orson Welles path.
Dead.
Coppola? Coppola's not dead.
I think he is.
I'm Googling it right now.
Go ahead.
Francis Ford Coppola is not dead. I'd bet you $50.
Okay.
That's more than you bet in 7 months.
Exactly, because I know he's not dead. Yeah, he's 78 years old. You owe me $50.
He died yesterday.
No, he didn't. Anthony Bourdain dines with Francis Ford Coppola in southern Italy. Lick me.
Wow.
He's not dead.
Yeah, actually, I just saw that on Twitter because I follow Anthony Bourdain.
What, he tweeted that Francis Ford Coppola died?
No,
Oh my
I
God.
saw that he was eating with him in Italy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of all Francis
Yesterday.
Ford Coppola can really do nowadays. He took the Orson Welles route of just get as fat as possible. Because you already made all of the great movies you had to. There's really no point in you doing anything else right now.
Right, you made one of the greatest movies ever, so
That's true.
He didn't make Lady Bird. Lady Bird's apparently the greatest reviewed movie of all time, and I will have that on North American Movie Update coming the summer of 2026. I'm 3 deep in this race. I start with the 4 Can Do. I usually did not like this horse during his racing here at the Meadowlands, but he's coming off some decent starts over at Pocono against similar competition and should be forwardly placed. If forwardly placed, that should do pretty well. The 7 Fleet Bumblebee is another one I used. Drops in class after attempting to go against numbers of 20,000. Was definitely in over his head there. 2 starts ago, rode the pocket, finished decently in the slop at Pocono. 4 starts ago, won against similar at Pocono off a pocket trip, and then 3 starts ago tried to close, which you just can't do that at Pocono. He has the ability to go off the gate, so if he does do that, he should be in a good spot. If he doesn't do that, well, then he'll be at a bad spot. I don't take New Jersey Viking because this horse just sucks. The 9 Caulfield, that's as much as I'm going to say for that one. Well, no, I'll elaborate. I say I be blunt for comedic effect. I be elaborate for professional effect. Because as both of you know, I am a professional comic. I hate myself for saying that. Andy Kaufman would be rolling in his grave, right? Andy, I'm sorry. But New Jersey Viking, this horse, that last race, sure, he might have bled, but he also had every right to win that race given the races he's been in the past. And he's a 3-year-old now going up against older horses. That's not necessarily an advantage on his part. He has the speed to put himself into the race. That's a benefit possible. He's also going to be very overbet, which is a negative thing, especially when you're betting on the fact that this horse, who has been racing somewhat averagely through the season, is going to pop. I mean, there's the chance he doesn't. And as a second favorite, I just don't think that's worth it. So going on to the 3rd horse I used, Caulfield, you guys pretty much touched on this. Was first over against similar last time at Pocono. Raced well to finish 4th. Won at Pocono 4 starts ago, going first over. Raced decently, going 1.25 miles. 3 starts ago at Yonkers. Just has some class. Has been racing well. I'm 4.79 in the second leg of the pick 4. Race number 10, plain and simple. You rarely see something so beautiful at the Meadowlands. A condition with 6 words. Non-winners of 8,500 in last 5 starts. It's so, it's like an E. Cummings poem. This is a 9-horse field. By the way, Google that. That was a smart one. There's 9 horses going to post here. Mikey J. McMike Proy. Give us your numbers.
4 deep again. These are tough races. So I'm spreading out the 2. Rocking the Hill. Raced well at Pocono. Flew this horse every week, 28-3, 28-4, 28-1, always flies home. That's going to serve him quite well on this racetrack, especially if it plays like it did last week, mostly from the back. Definitely capable just with those alone. So I'm interested in that for that reason. The 4, I am Mr. Brightside. This horse drops and, has been facing better. Just needs to wake up, I think, a little bit. Last time it won was numbers of 6,000 at Pocono. Ever since then has been stuck at this upper level where he just isn't nearly as competitive. So the drop, I think, will help him. The 7, JT, I like this horse a little bit. This horse was racing at Yonkers and, had some outside post, was first over last time, straight numbers of 10,000. And, I think the bigger track might help him. His problem is he's 1 for 31 this year. But has 15 lifetime wins. So, and then the 5, Home James. This is a horse comes off a layoff. Had a really nice qualifier, though. That's the reason I'm using this one. 52-3, home in 27-3. That's light years better than what this horse had been racing. If you look at its back lines with the breaks and all the mishaps and things, that horse runs that qualifier. Definite chance to win. So 2, 4, 5, and 7.
I gotta say, I'm surprised that they get some of that glamorous indie rock and roll down in New Zealand with I Am Mr. Brightside, but I guess that is just the price you pay because Destiny was calling them. Rod, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
It's time.
Hello.
It's time, Mr. Allums.
Well, I'm too deep here. I go 4 and 9. I Am Mr. Brightside. Drops. I think the drop is key here. Didn't race that badly against upper level condition horses the last 3 starts. He's going to come from off the pace, and I think he's got a big shot because he's going to be following cover, and it's going to be live cover. So I give him a big shot, but short price. And then my price shot of the night actually is Mr. Truth at 9. This horse, even with the outside post last week, raced really well against one class above this, maybe 2 classes, depending how you look at it. And Texas Terror actually went on to win the Open after he won that race 2 weeks ago. So he won the Open, where was it, Saratoga?
Oh, you tell me.
I think it was Saratoga. He won the Open this past week. But again, this horse, even with the outside post, he's going to duck. He's going to follow some cover. And I think there's a lot of speed potential in this race. And if they go decent fractions up front, this horse could be closing 100, and he gets Yannick. So, you got 2 positives there going for this horse. And it's his second start on the big track. So I expect him to put in a big effort tomorrow.
What I was wondering, too, is if he sends. Because I feel like he would be better from a stalking spot, not from so far off the pace.
I don't like him at all, so there's that.
Well, if Mike doesn't like him at all.
I don't think he's going to send. He might look for a spot early to be a little bit closer, but I don't think he's sending real hard off the gate.
He's going to be 50, probably.
Now here's the thing that I don't get. I Am Mr. Brightside. He's what I define as class crap. Class crap is usually defined as horses that are heavily bet that have the potential to win, but are not usually worth taking at short prices. I Am Mr. Brightside appears to be one of those horses that could potentially be odds on or somewhat close to that in favoritism. So with that, I am going to try and beat him because, as the proverb usually goes, you'd rather catch a stone rolling uphill than a stone rolling downhill, because when the stone rolls downhill, it'll probably run you over. So Rock on the Hill, speaking of that proverb, moves up in class, has been racing decently over at Pocono Downs, ascending the class ladder over there. He should at least get away in a decent spot from an inside post, be somewhat involved early on, and he has the late kick to be able to put himself into the mix. And I agree with Rod on Mr. Truth. Although he's dropping in class, he still has a decent resume at this level, and he would be better in a stalking spot than sitting towards the back of the pack like he has been in his last couple of starts. If he's at least in the middle of the pack, he could pick up that cover you think I Am Mr. Brightside is going to pick up, and then he'll be in the spot that could possibly win the race. Who knows? He's going to be a price worth taking, because this is a bad favorite, at least in my opinion, because my opinion is the only opinion I can spew, unless I am a drone in which I can spew the opinions of others. But many of you know I am my own person. 2-9 in the third leg. Final leg of this sequence. Race number 11. Fourth leg of this Big Four. Non-winners of 3 or 40,000 lifetime. Wins for 1,700 or less not considered. That's a strange one. Optional claiming 15,000 and intermix is first time Lasix. So, Michael Joseph Pribozie, the 16th. What are your numbers?
I think it's a little bit chalky in here. I like the 8 the best. Big stretch mark drops. Raced well in the G-Notes races. Really had no chance in them, but and this horse doesn't necessarily like to win. He's 4 for 56, but I just feel like he's been facing better, and he likes this track. I would expect an earlier move. That race 2 back came home 27-2, and he was against it that night too from the 9 hole. That race wins this every time. The 7 Silver Bullet, another horse dropping, was racing open, handicaps winners over at Rosecroft. Prior to that, was winning 15 claimers there. I think those are better than these even. And, with that class, the horse is going to be ignored, even though, this guy that's been driving him comes to drive. I think he could be a price play. And then the 4 Pepper Guy has won 3 in a row at 3 different tracks. This is a 3-year-old, was 1-9 last time. Comment was easy winner. If he's this good, shouldn't have much of an issue. So it is a goofy condition. It's really not your typical non-winners of 3. I like 4, 7, 8.
Before we send it off to Rod, this final race of the Meadowlands, or the 10th race of the Meadowlands, is going to be going momentarily. A couple of notes. Cardiac Fashion is the 8-5 favorite. That's ludicrous, but it's Ron Burke, so that's expected. Player Rosa is currently 14-1, so I would have to say that's value. Moonlight
I bet
Ransom.
the 1.
Quality.
I like the 1. So.
6-1 is a little low.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
think so. I disagree.
Player Rosa at 14-1, or 12-1 now. Yes, please. I will take
Quality Bud, that's what we need.
The 3s has a good chance. I like 1, 2, 3. Maybe a little 9.
1, 2, 3, maybe a little 9.
I just bet the 1 to win in place here.
Good for you. I am looking here at things. I have idea. Idea being had.
I've had better nights, I know that.
Do. This is the song I sing when I think of things. Trifecta key 3 with the 1, 7.
7?
The 7, yes.
I didn't hear any 7s mentioned up until now.
Ever.
What?
Ever.
What? Are you kidding me? I have the 7 in this race.
Okay, good. Well, let's call it and see what happens.
Favorite at 7-5, the 4 Cardiac Fashion. Second choice at 5-2, the 6 Moonlight Ransom. Third choice at 6-1, the 1 Quality Bud. This is the 10th from the Big M in motion and approaching the start. Off-fan pacing, Moonlight Ransom shows speed inside Player Rosa and Cardiac Fashion as they move to that first turn. They're 4 wide now as Nitro Glistening also shows speed. Player Rosa to the front outside to challenge Cardiac Fashion to the opening quarter. Parked out, Moonlight Ransom tucks behind them third. Quality Bud is back fourth. Outside fifth, Nitro Glistening to the opening quarter. Parked out by Alone in Spades sixth. Seventh then Just a Chameleon in front of Well We Said. Then it's back to I'm Sid the Kid and trailing the field Baggage Claim. 27-2 the opening quarter on down the backstretch. Cardiac Fashion leads Player Rosa by 2 1/4. Outside Quality Bud given his marching orders. He's up to second and up to challenge the leader past 3/8. Moonlight Ransom is antsy in fourth, trying to tip to the outside of Player Rosa, who now stalks the duelers to the half. Cardiac Fashion parking out Quality Bud as they go to that halfway station. In behind them, Player Rosa and 55-1, 27-4 for that second quarter to the far turn. Quality Bud turned away by Cardiac Fashion. Player Rosa's to the inside third. Moonlight Ransom caught in some confusion as Quality Bud is dropping back through the pack. Inside fourth, Nitro Glistening in between horses, then Alone in Spades. Deeper on the track than Well We Said moves up towards sixth. Seventh then to the inside of them, Just a Chameleon. Then I'm Sid the Kid. Baggage Claim. Quality Bud drops out to last at 3/4. In front is Cardiac Fashion in 123-2. Player Rosa Rosa in second, outside then Moonlight Ransom as they turn for home. Cardiac Fashion still maintaining control. Moonlight Ransom to the outside, closing in with Nitro glistening. Player Rosa to the inside. Well, we said deeper on the track. Deep stretch. Cardiac Fashion. Here's Moonlight Ransom now sweeping by to the outside. Moonlight Ransom and Allard take the lead through the stretch, and it's Moonlight Ransom up to win. From Cardiac Fashion, Just a Chameleon, and Well We Said in 153. Moonlight Ransom, more like Moonlight Crapsome. Ooh, I did not like this horse at all, shipping in from Freehold. But was second in a really fast mile there, and went off at 2-1.
Whoa.
That pick 4 paid how much?
Not enough.
It paid 198.20.
Yeah, you could have given me 5,000, and I couldn't have hit it. And
That's
I mean that
junk pick 4 there.
absolutely mean. Like, I had no shot at all, ever.
Well, this final leg of the pick 4 for tomorrow night at the Meadowlands, we still need to hear from Mrs. Rodney. Oh, did I say Mrs.? Whoopsie, Freudian slip.
That's bad.
Mr. Rod Allums. Hi, how's it going, Rod?
Okay, so last leg. I'm 4 deep here. 1, 2, 4, 7. The one, Ardeen. This horse coming in from Saratoga, been racing on the small tracks. Raced really well last week coming from the back. I always say it's tough to win from the back on any half-mile racetrack because you have shorter stretches. This one, I think, is going to benefit from the move to the big track. So, with the inside post, I expect this one to be leaving as well. The 2, I think, is going to follow right out of there. This thing's drawn nothing but outside posts at Pocono and Plain Ridge. Going to the big track, draws the inside. This one is going to have some sneaky miles in there that you might not notice right off the bat, but I don't think this one's going to be 15-1. If he is, go ahead and fire away. The 4, Pepper Guy, has won 3 in a row. It's Pelling. Comes from Yonkers. Limited lifetime starts, but this thing is showing some promise early in his career. Not facing the best bunches over there, but has been winning pretty handily lately. And then the 7, Silver Bullet. This one's dropping. Kind of odd classification for this one. Was at Plain Ridge and then went to Rosecroft and didn't fare very well over at Rosecroft. But this one I'm kind of iffy on, just because it's Steve Nason. I don't know him that well as a driver, but he's got a lot of starts and he does okay. So those miles at Plain Ridge, I think, can compete with these horses. If he takes to the big track, I think he's got a big shot because he's going to be following some live cover as well. So 1, 2, 4, 7 for me.
Can we also note that there's a horse named Silver Bullet and he's a black horse? What?
Does that matter?
I mean, if your name is Silver Bullet, normally I'm hoping that's a clever play on words because the horse looks silver, but black, last I checked, is not silver. I think Steve Nason's colorblind.
I doubt he named the horse.
He owns the horse.
Doesn't mean he named it.
But probability speaking, there is approximately a 68% chance he did.
That's not true.
Okay, it's maybe more like 56. I did the
If he
math.
bred the horse, then I would say, yeah, maybe.
Well, as you know,
I've owned many horses. I've named 0.
as you know, he owns Kentuckiana Farms Gen Par, and I'm not saying that just to cover myself in this rabbit hole that's not going to pay off. I do use the 7 in this race. I also use the 4. The 4 seems like the horse to beat here. I dislike the rest of this field, so I'm 4-7. That's all I have to say.
No, 8?
No, 8. I do not like.
I will say this about the 8. I thought about using this horse, and I used him both times he raced at the Meadowlands, and I thought the second time he had every chance to win that race, and he just didn't win. So that's the only reason why I didn't use him.
Actually,
The start before that, he raced really well first over the start before that, which was 3 starts ago. But
He had no chance in either spot. None. 0. None.
I thought he could win that race, and he just kind of he went with him basically.
Yeah, that's usually how he does it. I'm 4-7. I'm 4-7. I said I'm 4-7, which makes my numbers like this. 1. Oh, okay. I'm 1-5-6 with the 4-7-9, with the 2-9, with the 4-7. So that would be 1, 2, 6, $18 for 50 cents.
My ticket is 1, 5, 6, 7 with 2, 8 with 4, 9 with 1, 2, 4, 7. It's $32.
Mike,
I am gonna play.
Mike, I need your numbers.
They're large. 1, 4, 6, 7 with 1, 4, 8, 9 with 2, 4, 5, 7 with 4, 7, 8. It's 96. And if I have any money left after this bloodbath I've taken tonight, I might play.
You better get yourself tested too if you're taking blood baths. You gotta make sure you're using clean blood.
Well, we'll see. Maybe I can make up for it with this last race at Woodbine.
Although there is no such thing as clean blood. That I feel like that's ripped straight out of a James Bond novel. Because those were books, ladies and gentlemen. They weren't just movies. They started as books.
Are you a James Bond fan?
I enjoy the movies. They're fun little.
My dad's a big James Bond fan.
They're predictable, but they're fun little rides. Not in the same way the Marvel movies are. I disdain the Marvel movies and any superhero movies. They're saturated in the market. James Bond, however,
I love Marvel movies.
Rod, you can bite me. Movie recommendations I have right now for 2017. This is North American Movie Update with me, Roger Ebert. I'm the incarnation of Roger Ebert talking about movies right now. 2017 movie-wise, The Big Sick, Kumail Nanjiani and Zoe Kazan in a great movie about love and comas.
It was good.
You saw it?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that movie. I actually went and saw it in theaters. But it's also on Amazon Prime. What else? Lady Bird. We talked about Lady Bird. I'm yet to see it, but it is on my to-watch list. It is currently the best reviewed movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes. 3 billboards outside.
How did it beat Deadpool?
Because Deadpool as a movie isn't perfect.
I didn't think Deadpool was that great. I don't know why. I don't know what the fascination with that is.
Because it's a different kind of superhero.
No,
it's okay, but it's not like everyone said how great it was, and I watched it and was like, okay.
Here's the thing. People watched Thor Ragnarok and said this is the best superhero movie because of the comedy. It's probably it's not even that. It's not good.
I'm indifferent about Marvel movies. Some are good, some are not. I'm not blown away by any of them. I mean, they're mindless.
Exactly. That's my problem with them. When
They
I
are
watch
what they are.
when I watch a movie, I want to learn something about myself. And that's why The Big Sick's on the list. 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. That one's probably that's Oscar material. That's probably going to win. And I think that's going to be That's either going to be screenplay or best picture. It's one of those two. Francis
Did you see that one?
That's also my to watch list. I just know the story.
Okay.
There's a lot of time. I predicted Moonlight winning Best Picture last year, and everyone said La La Land, and I told them, you're in La La Land. That movie sucked. I hated that movie. I loved Moonlight. Hated I still love Moonlight. I don't want to make that past tense. Moonlight's a fantastic movie. La La Land, not
Moonlight,
so much.
like the werewolf thing?
No, it's about an African-American boy discovering both himself and his sexuality. He's gay.
Makes sense. You would love that movie.
I love movies about identity, not just because he was gay. However, Rod, he was attractive for a man, and I'm okay saying that. Jesus Christ. What else? In 2017, not a lot of movies really came out this year. I don't think Woody Allen had a movie come out, but I'm not sure people watch Woody Allen movies anymore.
Well, next year, Super Troopers 2 and Zombieland 2 are coming out.
We're canceling this show until Super Troopers 2 comes out. I'm not doing
April
another
20th.
show until I see the sequel to Super Troopers. Oh God, I'm stopping. I'm dropping out of school.
If you don't like Super Troopers, you can get the hell out of this country.
I feel like if the president said that would have been more. I don't know if that would be better or worse than calling the Mexicans whatever he did. Really, wow. Oh boy, I have mixed feelings right now. I dislike Super Troopers. There are much better comedies. Other news. In other news, movies
James Silent Bob.
Oh, is they're making a new one of that?
Clerks 3 is going to be coming out.
No way, they're making a third Clerks. Wow, Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Kevin
I'm
Smith.
so happy about that.
Too bad Tusk failed. Tusk bombed, but Tusk was a fun movie. The movie about a crazed scientist that turns people into walruses. Fantastic. Movies that aren't 2017 related that are worth watching. I recently just watched My Own Private Idaho. I'd highly recommend that movie. I watched it for my thesis paper, but no one cares about that. Movie about two male hustlers learning about themselves, journeying through the country and the world, all to the themes of Shakespeare's Henry IV.
That sounds like Brokeback Mountain.
No, Brokeback Mountain is a ripoff of that. My Own Private Idaho came in 1991. Brokeback Mountain, I believe, was 2009. Get on my level. What else we have here? What else? Crap. What else have I seen? Oh, Man on the Moon. There's a documentary that just came out about Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman. And then when he was in the movie Man on the Moon, came out in 1998, I think. That's a fantastic movie. Jim Carrey does a bang-up job as Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman, also a wonderful character actor. Highly recommend Man on the Moon.
I want to know what Mike's movies are.
It's probably Barbershop 2, Barbershop, The Shop is Cut.
Those are my movies. I'm from Chicago. Those are my movies.
I just assume Mike likes every movie Ice Cube's ever done.
I do. I actually do like.
Ice
what's your
Cube's
favorite-
awesome.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
I like
Friday
Die
After
Hard.
Next.
Yeah, I like that too. But
Wait, what'd you say, Rod?
Friday After Next.
Oh.
a good one. But Bad Santa by far.
Yeah.
is my favorite.
But Die Hard is. I mean, I grew up watching that movie every single.
I like Die
Christmas.
Hard, but
That's
Bad
like
Santa
Home
is better
Alone.
than Die Hard. It is. It's better.
The first one was hilarious.
I can say this with confidence though. Every Christmas movie sucks. Every one. They
Bad Santa is the best Christmas movie ever. It's not close.
Okay, ranking them for me. My honest opinion, I gotta go Die Hard 1.
I love how this worked.
Bad Santa 2.
I think that's the list.
No, then I'm torn between Friday After Next for third and Home Alone 2 for fourth.
I like just the regular Home Alone, not Home Alone 2.
See, I love the one in New York.
Home Alone's awful.
Oh,
What?
are you kidding me?
I dislike the Home Alone movies thoroughly.
ISIS, you're ISIS member.
Oh,
How can you not like Home Alone?
I've never.
Classic.
ISIS Craigslist ads. We are looking to
probably don't
destroy
like- you
America,
probably
but
don't like
also
The
must
Karate
not
Kid
like
either.
Home
You don't
Alone.
Like any of the 80s
Yeah.
movie.
Do you like the Karate Kid?
I'm indifferent to it.
Man.
Classic movie.
No, movies for.
Do you like the Rocky movies?
Again, indifferent.
Oh my, dude. there's something seriously wrong with the way your brain functions.
Oh, Manchester by the Sea. That was another movie I'd recommend. That was a great movie too. Casey Affleck plays a character. Basically, everything goes wrong.
No,
with
no,
him.
no. We're going back to the Rocky movies.
Yeah, we're doing old movies now.
No.
How can you not like any of the Rocky movies?
I didn't say I didn't like them. I said I'm indifferent to them. There are better movies.
Okay.
There are better movies, but they're still good.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to see. You have to watch all the Rocky movies, and then you rank them.
Yeah, all of them. All 12 of them. I don't have time to watch 12 Rockies. That sounds like a Rocky time. Give me a drum roll, Paul. I'm not David Letterman. I
And
don't
by
want
the
to be
way,
David Letterman.
okay, if you haven't seen any of the Rockies, watch Rocky 3, and then watch Apollo. Apollo was the most underrated movie, probably of this decade.
Oh, wait, you talking about the one that was up for an Oscar a couple years ago?
Yes, great movie.
Oh, that was Creed. It wasn't Apollo.
Yeah, it was Creed.
Oh, Creed. Sorry, Apollo Creed is who I was thinking of.
I was thinking of the airplane. By the airplane, I mean the space shuttle. That does it for us tonight. That was a quick edition of North American Movie Update, which I would not be opposed to making a show. But this was within the greater segment of North American Harness Update. Next week, I'm not here. You guys are in charge again.
Wow. Are you sure we have the pedigree for that?
I've given it to you in the past. I have my final improv show of the year, and then next year I have more. But for now, I have been Ray Cotolo. They are Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr. Tune in next week for them and not for me.
Boobies.